Right, this is the answer key we're going to go through here for CFA from 2.9 to 2.11 here, mostly dealing with ratios. Okay, so number one, there are 4 white tiles for every 6 shaded tiles. There are 60 tiles in all, and we're supposed to try and draw a picture to represent this. I could keep drawing 4 to 6 ratio of tiles over and over until I got to 60 tiles, but that would take quite a while, so that's why we deal with tape ratios a lot. Or tape diagrams here to deal with ratios. So I'm going to just do a tape diagram, and we're going to do 4 white tiles, and I'll label this W for white. And kind of tough to see there, we've got it right in the light, so I'll move it over here. All right, so we've got 4 white to every 6 shaded. Alright, so I've got them labeled from white to shaded there with my pieces of tape. And it says there's 60 tiles in all. So we know with the tape diagram we can put the total over here, and we've got 60. And I need to divide that up evenly in every box. So I know there's 10 boxes when I add all these up. So 60 divided by 10 is 6. So now I'm going to put a 6 in every box. And I just do the white, those 6 4 times, and then the shaded, I do those 6 times. So when I get all these added together here, I know 6 times 4, this is 24 here, and 6 times 6 is 36. And I know if I add 36 and 24, I get that total of 60 tiles there. So how many tiles are white? I'd have 24. And how many tiles are shaded? Would be 36. And I'll pause this video as needed when we're watching it to make sure you guys have time to draw and get these answers written in. So there's the answer for number 1, using that tape diagram to help us with our ratios. Number 2, okay, it says Tanner collects books, and he has 3 nonfiction books for every 5 fiction books. He has a total of 56 books. So again, I'm going to use a picture to represent. They tell me I specifically need to use a tape diagram here. So we've got a 3 to 5 ratio. So I'll do the same thing with my tape. And draw 3 for my nonfiction and 5 for my fiction. Make sure I label those correctly. And he has a total of 56 books. So again, I've got that total. So I put it off to the right side here, and I know I have to split that up between 8 boxes. So 56 divided by 8 is 7. I know that gives me 21 nonfiction books. And 7 times 5 is 35 of those fiction books. And on this one, they just want to know how many books are nonfiction. And my answer here would be 21 of those nonfictions. Again, I double check, 35 plus 21 is 56, and I kept it at that same 3 to 5 ratio the whole time there. So 21 nonfiction books. Again, make sure you're writing these, and then we'll continue to the other side here. All right, so flip your paper when you're ready here. We're going to write an equivalent ratio for each problem. We know equivalent ratios are infinite. But we'll just kind of do simple ones here. We know what I do one side and I need to do to the other, either multiplicatively or divisionally. Here I think I'm going to divide. I know they're both even. They cut in half. So if I divide them both by 2, I get a 4 to 5 ratio. Some people, you guys probably on your answers, we could double them too. Easy way to do it here would be 16 to 20. If I decided to multiply them both by 2, and double both, we keep that same rate of 16 to 20. So a couple different answers there for you. I think I'll do the same here, and I'll just double both of these. So this would become a 14 to 18 ratio when I double both of those. So pretty simple way to look at that one here. 11 to 44, I know that 11 is the greatest common factor of 11 and 44. So I know both of these can divide by 11. Get this down to a simpler form, and I can get that down to a 1 to 4 ratio. Some of you may double them. If you double them, you'd get a 22 to 88. Or excuse me, yeah, 22 to 88. And again, both of those are correct. Usually I try to get it into a simpler form if you can get it to a unit rate, a little bit easier to work with. Going to do the same thing here. I see both these divide by 8, and I could get a 1:8 ratio. Again, get it to that unit rate. One easy way to look at it there, but there are all kinds of answers that we could have. They are infinite. Okay. Number 4, Pam wants to make cookies. The recipe calls for 3 cups of flour for every 1 cup of chocolate chips. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. And I'm going to label this off to the side here. We've got this as flour, 3 cups of flour for every 1 cup of chocolate chips. Let's put CC for chocolate chips. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. And it says Pam uses 9 cups of flour and 4 cups of chocolate chips. Well, their cookies taste the way they should. And when I'm looking at these ratios, I'm going to do this more abstract way, just thinking multiplicatively. I know if I want 9 cups of flour, I'd have to take this times 3 to get it to 9. And if I take this times 3 as well to keep it at the same rate, it would be a 9-to-3 ratio, not a 9-to-4 ratio. Okay, so in that case, she did not follow and keep the same ratio. So will the cookies taste the way they should? Okay, and our answer here would be no. Okay, and why would that be? No, because the ratio should be 9 to 3, not that 9-to-4 ratio. So hers would taste a little more chocolate chippity because she would add more chocolate chips than the rate of the original recipe there with that 3-to-1 ratio. Okay, so again, making sure you're getting these written down here, and I'll pause the video if you need me to. One last question here. If we're at the water park, there were 32 adults to 64 children. Use any ratio notation to write the adults to children. Adults to children, this is part to part. And in this case, we had 32 adults to every 64 children. Again, you got to do it in the right order. It said adults, so I put the adults first. Some of you can see that 32 is half of 64, so a lot of you just know that's a 1-to-2 ratio, or you could divide both sides by 32, get at that unit rate, a little bit easier to think about, to having 1 adult to every 2 children there. On part B, it says which expression could we use to show the ratio of adults to people? So now they change it to part to whole, adults to people. So I have to add these 2 up and get a total, and if I do that, there's 96 total people. So we're going adults to people, and adults is the first one. So there's 32 adults to every 96 people. Okay, so 32 to 96, and I see this is one of my answers here. Again, really got to identify if it's part to part or part to whole before we start doing this, which we decided it was part to whole there. I would probably get it to a unit rate if I divide by 32 here. And then I divide that by 32, it's going to get me down to this 1-to-3 ratio, because 32 is 1/3 of 96. You might be able to say, hey, if I cut 32 in half, I get 16. 96 cut in half is 48. Okay, so there's another one that's equivalent. Or if I took 1 times 16 and 3 times 16, that ends up 48. And so we know that's the same rate. Working off this unit rate, if I take it times 8, I get 8. So take 3 times 8, I get 24. And I know that answer is correct. These are all 1-to-3 ratios. Pretty simple when we get it down to its unit rate. This one, 32 to 64, that's still part to part like the top. So that's not part to whole. So that doesn't work. And I know this one as well. This is with 54. You know, if we took this times 54, I take 3 times 54, you're going to get a lot more than 81, so this one does not make sense there. So these are the 4 answers. They're all a 1-to-3 ratio for that part to whole ratio.